At the end of the day, you had to do that with Connor, like you say, to feel like, was there a connection here with him?
I saw a spark between you and Poppy from the offset. I know that what you've got with Helena is very, very good. I just thought where you had it initially with Poppy, that would moved things in your mind.
I don't know whether the clique doesn't understand the word hypocrisy, because if you look for the word hypocrisy, you'll find their faces right next to it. Because when other people were exploring connections in the villa, people were kicking off. Meg and Megan were kicking off, accompanied by their other member of their clique, Helena. And yet now you have Meg telling Meg that, you have Megan telling Meg that, you had to explore that connection. You didn't do anything wrong. You had to make sure that there was something there and see if there was something there strong enough. I really love you and blah. And it's like, why didn't you afford the same grace to people like Militia? Why didn't you afford that grace to Yasmin? You called them out of their names because they tried to do exactly the thing that you're championing your friend for doing. And the audacity for Helena to comment on someone else's connection. What will she say to Alima when she gets back to the villa? Because she was trying to advocate for Poppy. Is it because she really liked Poppy as a person? What is it? I didn't like that. And I'm really sad for Shay. But Shay, I think, I can't even name a dating show that you'd be best on. Because he doesn't seem to have any chat. I think his best bet since this is over is to go and look for work as a model, because he's good looking, he's got a good body. That's the best he can do. I think talking is not his jam, and so maybe that's what he'll be able to do. Everybody else, I'm side-eyeing Romel after all he did with that poor little child. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 12, Episode 16. I know I said it yesterday, but I'm going to repeat it. Production fumbled. They fumbled. Sleepover was a great idea, but they fumbled in who they sent to sleepover. My only thought is they sent Helena because they wanted her to explore other connections. They sent Emily because they wanted her to explore other connections. But as to why they sent Romel, I don't get it. The only reason I can think of is they were trying to separate Alima and Remell. Otherwise, sending him there didn't make sense. If they wanted carnage, they should have sent Harry. Harry and Dijon would have been a menace in sleepover, especially if they sent them with people like Tony and with Yasmin. That would have been mayhem. That would have been a great combination. They wouldn't have needed to show us the main villa. They could have just kept us in sleepover, and those people would have been a mayhem, and their partners would have been running crazy in the villa because they would be stressed, especially knowing that the two girls have gone with Romel and they were talking about threesomes. That would have been great TV. That would have been entertainment at its peak, because it would have been mayhem. So you have Alima back in the villa. She's been consoled by Meg because she's very upset about the video that she saw. She didn't like the things that, Romel was saying, that he felt like, he came across as though he was bored. And so that was the statement, that I haven't been occupied or whatever, I haven't been busy. And so for her, that wasn't a good look. She didn't like that. She was very upset with that and felt disrespected by him. And so Megan is trying to console her and just let her know that, no, he really likes you. You don't know in what context he said that. Yes, you don't know in what context, but still at the same time, it was disrespectful. Meg feels that Megan, is moaning to anyone with ears as well, that she's upset that Dijon continues to do the things that he does because they've already been through an obstacle and she doesn't get why they're going through another. And it's like, love, you're on Love Island. What do you expect, Sherlock Holmes? Anyway, you have the islanders get ready for the night. Tommy's Meg is busy talking about her connection with Connor and the fact that she's upset with Tommy. She says the problem is everybody sees Tommy as the golden retriever of the villa, so they take his side and they don't sort of take into consideration every other aspect of what's going on. And personally, I don't think Tommy's a great guy. I don't know him. He might be a great guy. I don't know him. But I think he's putting on a persona and he's getting an amazing edit. And so people will only get to see him for who he is the longer he stays in. He's giving me Sean vibes, sweet man. And I have a feeling that the longer he stays in the villa, the more of a menace he's going to be. Anyway, islanders pick up their drinks, and then in the sleepover, you have them. I assume. Well, while they were in the bedroom, Romel was saying that he's hoping to kiss Poppy. So once they sit down, they decide to play truth or dare, and this is why I said I'm going to keep saying it. Harry should have come, because as soon as Romel said he wanted to kiss Poppy, Dijon took it and said, okay, fine, I'll keep it in my pocket. And then as soon as they started truth or dare, he dared him to, I dare you to kiss your strongest connection, and he kissed Poppy. And so it was interesting that the boys got to do what they wanted. They spoke about kissing the girls, and the only thing is Helena was asked to do a sex position, and she did it on Jojo, because that's the person she's connecting with. Dijon was asked to kiss, the person he has the strongest connection with, and he went to town. People ended up counting. You could see Emily was itching. If she had a mobile, she would have rang Megan to see what's happening. Or if she could, she would have interfered in that. Because of the way she kept looking at them and looking at Helena, and it's like, they are playing a game. Can you please sit your hot bottom down and just mind your own business? You're not here to be a spy. I didn't like that. In the main villa, you have Megan, Alima, and Meg sit down for a conversation. Alima is still distressed. She's still distressed because she doesn't understand why, if he was telling her that, they're doing very well, and if she felt they were doing very well, suddenly he's met up with new girls and he's saying that, he hasn't really been kept busy. So she feels some type of way about that and is wondering whether she's been wasting her time. And one thing about Alima, as soon as he comes back, she's going to hold his feet to the fire. Megan talks about the fact that they've already had another challenge in the villa. She doesn't understand why they keep getting challenges. This is my opinion. I feel like Megan should be sent home, like they did to Molly Marsh. Was it Molly Marsh or something? They should send her home for a bit. Allow Dijon to couple up with someone else and let him and Harry run that villa ragged. Let him and Harry run that villa ragged, and then she can always come back and claim her man. But at this point, she wants to husband him, and he's not ready, and he hasn't entertained us enough. And we know that the moment he settles down, Harry can't be a menace on his own, so we still need to be entertained. Meanwhile, you have Meg. Meg is unhappy with Tommy. She feels that her connection is growing stronger. And the girls appreciate that because Emily hasn't been there, Meg has had an opportunity to explore that without any guilt or without stressing that somebody's watching over her. And it's like, these girls, I called it. I said they were not, Emily's friends. And she doesn't see that. They are happy for Meg to explore a connection with her couple, but they are chilling in their couples and they're not worried about their couple splitting up. That should say a lot to her. Hopefully she learns and she moves on. Tommy, you have Tommy on the other side of the villa. He is complaining bitterly. He is saying that he feels like because they have an issue at the moment, Meg is going to be forced to turn and sort of focus on Connor. And it's like, I don't think that's the case. I think she's bored by you. I think you come across as too sort of laid back for her. There's no excitement. There's no entertainment. There's nothing there that could last a long time. Whereas with Connor, she actually sees a future whereby they could have a relationship that lasts a lot longer. And I feel like this is why she's exploring with Connor. It's not just the fact that they have a connection. There is a physical attraction. There is actions towards the physical attractions, which Tom is not giving her. At the sleepover, you have Helena having a chat with Jojo. They make a cute couple. I think she likes the idea of winning Harry. I don't think there was any substance between her and Harry. Yes, there was an attraction whereby they wanted to, explore that physically immediately, but I don't think there's anything of substance. Whereas with Jojo, he seems to make sense for her. He asks for a kiss, she gives him a peck, and it's like, well, hey, it is what it is. You have Poppy sitting with Romel. Romel is on cloud 9 because he actually initiated a kiss and they kiss and he's busy holding a bum bum. And you have the girl saying, look at him, look at him, look at what he's doing. And it's like Emily is Sissy's TV there. She is recording everything that is happening. And once she gets back to the villa, I wouldn't be surprised if she starts downloading every single thing that happened to the girls and gets the boys in trouble instead of minding her own business. You have Dijon and Caprice. Dijon and Caprice really look good. They look good. I personally don't understand why Dijon is set on Meg. Because at the end of the day, Megan is just draining for him. The name calling, the belittling that she does when she's upset, and the snarky remarks that she makes, I don't like that. So I don't get why he continues to stay with her. Whether he knows that's a security to stay in the villa or not, he would be better off going home. At the end of the day, he would be better off going home because there's no point in him staying there. You have Connor, Harry, and Shay sitting and they're chatting. And Connor is sort of saying that he's enjoying his connection with Meg. It seems to be growing, but it's a bit awkward, obviously, as boys, because Tommy is making it seem like someone has stolen his girlfriend when no one has stolen his girlfriend. This is not his girlfriend. This is a girl he was exploring a connection with. The only difference is he got to share a bed with her and is in a couple with her. But being in a couple doesn't mean you're married. And hopefully he will learn that. I have a feeling, I'm going to continue to say, he is going to be the Sean of this season. You have Connor sneak a little smile towards Meg. Meg sneaks a little smile and they sort of wave. They're really cute. I think Connor will mellow Meg because Meg at times can be a bit out of hand, especially with some of the comments that she makes. So I think Connor will sort of mellow her and she'll be able to sort of be more focused and mind her own business. So hopefully they continue to explore that because at the end of the day, I do not see anything going the distance with Tommy. I think over time, Meg would be bored and then she'd end up saying, no, I can't do this anymore. Once they leave the villa, she'll just send him a text message and say, we're done. So you have Meg pull Tommy for a chat. They are both in their own ends. Tommy's saying you disrespected. I personally want to understand Tommy's meaning, how his definition of the word disrespect, because he's been disrespected by everybody that hasn't done what he wants them to do. He was disrespected by Shay because Shay kissed Megan, even though Megan wasn't his girlfriend. He was disrespected by Connor because Connor touched Meg's leg. Now he's disrespected by Meg because Meg is upset that he didn't believe her when she told him whatever she told him and believed Harry instead. So what is his definition of disrespect? And when has he disrespected anybody else in the villa? That's my question. Anyway, I sadly am going to be Team Meg. I'm not buying the act. I feel like we're meeting Tommy's representative. We haven't yet met Tommy. And Tommy is about to be unleashed because he's done sly things quietly and no one has picked them up. And I think now we're about to see him for who he is. And I can't wait to see what happens with that. So because they couldn't reach an understanding, you have sort of Meg storm off because he's asking for an apology. She refuses to apologize because she doesn't understand why she needs to apologize. So Meg goes to the daybeds where she talks to the girls. Surprisingly, Shay and Yasmin were sitting together. Did anyone else notice that? She was right into his armpit, so I didn't quite get that. Anyway, you have Meg tell the girls what's happened, and the girls don't understand why he needs an apology. I don't think anyone else understands why he needs an apology outside of the fact that he's the nice guy. She's open to she's single, so she can explore connections. She can kiss who she wants, and if she's coming back to tell him, then there shouldn't be any reason why he should be upset. She storms off. He goes to the fire pit with the boys. Connor stays on his own. You have Tommy sort of venting to the guys and sort of saying, he's asked, do you think you're still going to continue with her? And he said, no. If my mum were to see that, she would say he'd better not bring her here because that's unacceptable. The way she's behaved, I don't like that. She's this. And it's like, this boy is still a child. He needs to go home. He really does need to go home and sort of focus on his life at home and focus on maturing and gaining experience before he signs up for a show like Love Island. I think Love Island needs an experienced person like Dijon and Harry. Anyway, you then have Connor pull. Well, Megan then goes to Connor. They sit down, they have a chat. She updates him on what's happened. And she says, I don't want you to think anything that happens from here on now is because he and I have fallen out. They also bring up the fact that Emily still doesn't know how far things have progressed between the two of them. And I love that Connor said, don't worry about that. I will sort that out. That's my cross to carry and I will resolve whatever issues we have there. Connor then goes and pulls Tommy for a chat and just says, I just want to let you know that the reason why I haven't come is because I know at this point you're very heated and you don't need me as a friend. So I won't pretend to try and change that and try and be friendly with you when I know that you're very upset with how things have gone. And it's like, The problem is Tommy was very confident. He was overconfident. He felt like he owned Meg, or he had won Meg's heart, and no one else would steal her from him. And so the idea that she stole him from him is something he didn't expect, and this is why he's shocked. And now he's clutching his pearls and he's saying he's there grieved. He needs an apology. I hope he doesn't get one. You then have, in the sleepover, you have Dijon having a conversation with Romel. Romel is saying this is the best he's felt in a connection. He says, yes, his connection with Helena has been great, but it seems his connection with Poppy is even better, and he's looking forward to going to bed with her. And it's like, what he's more or less saying is that he wishes Alima would just give everything away. Alima is too confident and knows her self-worth and will never ever just give someone something just because that will make them happy. So if he feels he can get that from Poppy and that's what he wants, it is what it is. Dijon says he misses his Meg. Dijon knows what to say, because at the end of the day, he knows there's a possibility Meg is going to see this. So he wants to be in Megan's good books. He agrees that the kiss with Caprice was amazing, but long term, he sees himself with Megan. And it's like, what does he mean by long term? Does he like the toxic cycle, the roller coaster that they're constantly on? Is that what he says he misses? I didn't quite get that. The islanders get ready for the night. The girls are still aggrieved that, the girls in the villa of the video that they've seen. You have, Harry saying he misses Dijon. Harry misses Dijon more than Megan misses Dijon. I think Harry misses Dijon more than he misses anyone in that villa. And if Dijon were to go home, he would be inconsolable. So the islanders get ready for the night. And then there was this little clip. First, before the lights went out, you had Tommy suddenly stand up and walk out and saying, I'm going to the daybeds. And Meg is saying to him, but it would have been nicer to be told. And he's being very immature, he's being very childish. And we're about to see his childish side come out because the boys were encouraging him to go after Emily. So I think that's what he's going to do. The islanders go to sleep. And then something happened between Ben and Yasmin, because she said to him, you wouldn't get this from a nice girl. And it's like, Yasmin is amazing TV, and I think this is why production have sort of avoided showing Yasmin, Harry, and Dijon in the same space, because the fans were really going wild for them, and I think they want to make sure that everybody else gets airtime, because if Yasmin, Harry, or Dijon decide to leave, or something happens and they leave, then it would be a struggle for them to sort of fill that gap. This is why I think from time to time we get just glimpses of them, and then when they don't have anything else, then they put them in the forefront. At the moment, I hope the storyline with Tommy is finished. So in the morning, everyone wakes up. Obviously, there's conversations in the bedroom. Megan says she misses Dijon. And if she says that one more time, I'm going to lose my mind, because we've heard it multiple times. We don't need to keep hearing that. While the girls are in the changing rooms, obviously, they get their breakfast. Connor brings breakfast for Meg. And then you have Harry bring coffees for, he's brought for Megan because Dijon is not there, and he's also brought for Shakira. And the audacity to say, oh, it's not as good as Dijon's. Well, then go and make it yourself then, love. You're not being forced to drink it. And Alima is a bit concerned. She does miss, Romel, so that shows that she cares about him, but she doesn't know what's going to happen, and it's like, hey, it is what it is. Harry, I think, was sent out to go and wake up Tommy. So you have Tommy and Harry have a conversation, and Tommy saying, it was good for me to sleep outside. I've managed to have closure, and now I can make moves to sort of try and explore other connections. And it's like, yeah, you might want to explore connections. That's if the connections want to explore you. It's not just you going out there and people saying, okay, let's go. So I don't get why he feels like that. He's not my favorite islander, if I'm going to be for real. I know I am biased. Back in the sleepover, you have the girls, you have Emily and Helena having a conversation. Just a quick debrief. Helena, she's talking from both sides of her mouth, because at first she said she had a very good night's sleep, and then she said she didn't sleep very well because she was thinking of Harry. And it's like, your obsession with Harry needs to stop. It really needs to stop, because Harry hasn't shown one slightest bit of missing you. So the idea that you're saying you slept very well and you didn't sleep as well because you're worried about him doesn't make any sense. Emily thinks, being away from Connor was good for her because now she's able to see things in a different light. And it's like, well, you're in for a rude awakening when you get there because Connor has already made moves and very soon at recoupling will be leaving you and you will have no other option but to go for Tommy. Back in the villa, you have Meg pull Tony for a chat. She says she's very close friends with Megan, but the problem is Megan is also friends with Tommy. So whatever she discusses, she doesn't want Tommy to find out. This is why she's speaking to Tony. And Tony is a better person than me because some of the ways that, Megan has behaved, I would never entertain her. Really, I would never have entertained her. But anyway, Megan, I think, is trying to keep an option open with Tommy just in case things don't pan out because she doesn't know what's going to happen when Emily comes back because there is this concern that Emily might not have connected with someone. Emily's just as delulu as Tommy. So the two of them, if they couple up, they can stay in their delulu world and be sent home because at the end of the day, the idea and the audacity not to realize that the person you're with doesn't like you, I don't get it. Maya Jama then arrives at the sleepover. Everyone is shocked to see her. They have a brief conversation about the couples and the fact that who was summoned to the sleepover by whom. And so they are advised that there will be a recoupling. And so the bombshells need to stand up. And then I assume they're going to ask who wants to couple up with whom and see who stays and who goes back home. I think it's not fair. I wish they had taken them back all to the villa and then given these people an opportunity to either explore connections with other people. If they can't, then they would go home. So you have Megan sitting with Meg and on the hammock. And they're sort of having this conversation about Meg exploring a connection with Connor. And it's the hypocrisy for me, because of the fact that you had this woman busy championing for, Meg, you had to do it. It was important that you try and explore your connections just to make sure you haven't missed anything because it's pointless for you to sit there and ignore something that might be there. And it's like side eye. Why didn't you afford the same grace to people like Malisha and Yasmin? Why did you go after them hard when they tried to do the thing that you're championing your friend to do? And this is why I said Emily was hooking the trolley onto somebody's train that didn't care about her, because at the end of the day, these girls should be worried about Emily, that now when she comes back, how will she feel finding out that you people kissed? How will she feel finding out about ABCD? But they don't care. They really don't care. As long as Meg is happy, that's the important bit. You have the islanders receive a text message to say they need to gather around the fire pit, and everybody's anxious because they don't know what's about to happen. So they were sort of alternating between the sleepover and the villa. So Helena was first up. She was given the option to recouple. She decided to recouple with Jojo. I think she did it just for the sake of doing it, just because she wanted to make Harry jealous. I think she didn't want to come in without ammunition because she was worried that if she came in alone, then Harry might think, oh, she's still pining after me. I think she's trying to make him jealous so that he fights for her. Anyway, the girls in the villa will have a shot at finding love because he will be single, so he will be able to explore with other girls, people like Tony, people like Shakira. He can explore a connection and hopefully find his person. Next up was Emily. It was a waste of time getting Emily to stand up. We all knew she didn't like that man. We all know she's obsessed with Connor, so she was never going to leave Connor, even though he's literally opened the door and he said, step out and enjoy. She still wouldn't leave him, so I'm not surprised. Dijon, I wish he had brought back Caprice. I really do. I think with Dijon, he's so settled to make that it's going to be difficult for him to move about the way he would have wanted. And sadly, that's not good for him, because I think Dijon would have been better continuing to be a menace with his friend Harry. Harry will be happy to see him. Dijon refused to recouple, so he stayed in his couple with Meg. Are we surprised? No. Meg, when she got the text message, was very happy. Personally, I believe that Shay, when he was told that Helena's recoupled, wasn't shocked because there was no romantic connection. But Meg was ecstatic. She forgot to read the room. I wish she had read the room and realized that someone has just received bad news. Romel, side-eye. The audacity to eat that child's face off, the audacity to make out with her in bed and then turn around and say, no, actually, I've decided to stay in my couple. Yes, it's good because Alima stays in the villa, but the fact that he used someone just to enjoy himself, and then when he was done, he left her. I didn't like that. So he decided to stay in his couple, which is good because we have Alima stay in the villa. Alima was excited because she knew he was staying. Maya Jama then said actions have consequences, so she then left the sleepover. At the villa, they then found out that, Shay sadly had been dumped because he was single, which was really sad because I don't think he deserved that. I really don't. And they had Yasmin read it out to him. And Yasmin has always got a deadpan face. You don't know what she's thinking, which made things even worse. So, Connor was crying. It was really sad because I think Connor was very close to him. Romel was worried because he was close to Shay as well. The girls, Poppy and Caprice, were not happy because they felt like the guys had used, well, especially Poppy had been used by Romel. Yes, at least Dijon didn't sleep in the same bed with Caprice, but I think this is what I feel. I feel like they thought even if they don't recouple, these people will come back to the villa and they'll continue to explore connections. They didn't realize that if they don't recouple, these people are going home, which is really sad. That how do you bring people for a couple of days? This was even shorter than Casa, so I didn't quite get it. I didn't understand the rationale behind that. Anyway, I can't wait for tonight's episode. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 15. Bye guys.